this is Karen Williams, and this is my sequel video to the first video I produced in May 2012, where I described having written my book Treasure. And Treasure was the true story of how Paulo Coelho's famous fable, The Alchemist, happened to me in real life. Well, 5 years later, I'm sitting here in front of you because I want to introduce you to my final version of Treasure. It took 5 years and 3 months to write, and it is the definitive version of Treasure. Now, as I've just said, Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist happened to me in real life. And I know that for a lot of people that sounds totally crazy. What's she talking about? Well, it is in regard to a process that we all engage in once in a while in our lives. And it's a process which is largely unconscious. It's a process called channeling. And I know for a fact that Paulo Coelho subconsciously, without any knowledge whatsoever in his conscious mind, channeled the story of The Alchemist. And then that story happened to me 7 years later in real life. And this is what Treasure is about. Now, I just want to read something for you from the book which gives you evidence of this. So if you'll just excuse me, I'm going to put my glasses on and I'm going to read it for you. I was browsing on the internet on the 10th of August 2016. I'd just finished writing and correcting Treasure, and I went onto YouTube. Now, I suddenly saw some interviews that Paulo gave to Oprah Winfrey, and these interviews were uploaded to the YouTube channel 2014. I clicked on one just out of curiosity, and this is what I heard. Paulo was sitting in front of Oprah Winfrey, and in words infused with awe and also humility, he said the following to her, and I quote from my book. "But Oprah, you want to know, did I write The Alchemist?" Pause. "I'm not sure." Pause. "I'm sure that I was a good instrument." Now you can imagine my reaction when I saw that video, because I had known for years that Paulo had channeled The Alchemist. Many writers do this. The very famous writer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, said in one of his books that he was very familiar with the process of channeling, because he felt that so many of his books were written through a process of inspiration from material coming down to him from the invisible realm by a process of channeling. So this is what Treasure is. Treasure is the true story of how The Alchemist happened to me in real life. Now, you'll be asking yourself, well, what is The Alchemist all about? And it seems that if you go on the internet, a few people seem to know. But actually, The Alchemist is about exactly what Treasure is about, which is a search for one's soul. Santiago was in search of his soul, and I was in search of mine. But more than just being in search of our souls, we were in search of the divine spark of spirit within our souls. Now, all soul journeys are unpredictable. You never know what you're going to find. And mine was exactly that. Over a period of 19 years, I discovered that the soul is made up of two halves. These two halves I gave different names. For one half of the soul, I called it the mystical half, and for the other half of the soul, I called it the material half. Now, my journey was about these two halves of my soul meeting at some point in my odyssey. And in The Alchemist, this is exactly what happens to Santiago. He is the mystical half of the soul, and he journeys for an encounter with the material half of his own soul. This material half is personified by the leader of the refugees, who beats him at the end of the book. Now, this beating is highly symbolic because it is a beating which represents Santiago's encounter with his own shadow, his own darkness. And over a period of 19 years, I had various encounters with my own darkness. This darkness has to be met. It is a darkness that we all have, each of us as a human being. And when we encounter that darkness, we bring it into consciousness. In other words, we bring it into light. This process of bringing darkness into light is what we call redemption. So the story of Santiago in The Alchemist and my story, Treasure, is a story of redemption. Now, darkness isn't a very popular subject for any of us. None of us like to think that we have things about ourselves which are not only unacceptable to us, but they're unacceptable to society. But Treasure is a very, very important book, and it's all to do with cosmic timing. The reason I took a redemptive journey was because I can now talk about redemption in general and how to face the darkness that the world is facing at the moment. As you all know, we are encountering terrorist attacks. We are encountering lone wolf individuals who are suddenly driving vans into people, letting bombs off. We have ISIS, or otherwise Daesh. We're living in very, very dark times. Now, my book is able to explain to you why we are living in those dark times. But I don't want to focus completely on darkness, because redemption is the process of bringing light to those dark areas inside ourselves. And when we bring that darkness into the light of ourselves, we are, in a sense, experience soul rebirth. And this soul rebirth allows us to start to operate from the best within ourselves. I have a passion for truth, because truth is sacred. This is what I said in my first video in 2012. And in this age of what everybody is calling fake news, which I don't particularly like, I don't like that term, truth is very important. We need to know the truth about ourselves as individuals, and we need to know the truth about other individuals, so that we can act from a place of compassion, from a place of light, from a place of love, and from a place of peace. Ultimately, when you search for your soul, you are searching for peace, you are searching for love, and you are searching for compassion. And we need this. Just to end this video, I have to say that Treasure will be out live on Amazon and all the other internet sites at the end of this month. In other words, at the end of June 2017. Now, the reason for this is that I made a mistake inside the book, and so I had to put the book on hold. Now, I don't think you'll encounter many writers who will actually admit to having made a mistake inside their own book, but that's what I'm doing. It was a very important mistake. It was a proofreading mistake, and I can tell you, after having proofread my book for 5 times, it was only on the 6th occasion that I saw the mistake. So for those of you who have actually purchased a copy of my book with the mistake, I refer you to page 201, okay? I'm just going to get my glasses again. So, dear friends, if you did buy this book with the mistake in it, if you go to page 201 and the 3rd paragraph, which is inset, you will see the following sentence. There was only one means by which the lumen Dei of the material half of the shepherd's soul. Well, lumen Dei is incorrect. It should be lumen naturae. My apologies, but I'm human, I'm mortal. And as I say, it was only on the 6th proofread after the book was published in April that I saw the mistake. Anyway, as I say, It's going to be out at the end of the month. I really hope that you can look into it, because there are many, many questions answered about who we are as a human race, where we're going, and what we need to do to bring light, peace and love to the world. I have sent a copy of my book to Paolo, and I hope he's watching this video, because Paolo, you were the inspiration for this. Without you, I could never have made my journey, and that's just proof of just how connected we all are. The one great truth about the universe is connection. And in this moment in time when people are trying to destroy the connection between us as human beings, as a human family, we need to know about the darkness and light within us more than ever before. So thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye. Hi, back again. This is just a PS, my dear friends. I want to show you this absolutely exquisite piece of artwork created by my friend Christopher Hobby. I don't know if you can see it, but it is a magnificent shell, and on it are two butterflies. As we know, butterflies are symbols of spirit and of higher power and love. The metamorphosis of the caterpillar in the cocoon that becomes a butterfly. So my dear friends, let's all become butterflies. And there's another one, the butterfly. The proceeds to my book, I hope, will eventually lead to me creating a retreat centre which will allow people to detox and de-stress from a very, very negative world at the moment and find their inner butterfly. Thank you very, very